Hey everyone, I'm Alexis the Ego Queen. I can't do a hair flip, I'm sorry. I can barely actually touch my face in this. But anyway, this is a very special stream because it's Halloween. And like a loser, I'm sitting inside doing absolutely nothing. Actually, it's more or less I'm being a responsible adult because I work tomorrow. So, today I'm unfortunately not joined by anybody. So if you are going to leave me questions, please at me or, use the super chat and link below. It kind of helps out the channel and everything. But anyway, today we are going to be talking about the brand new Tyranids, their new Codex and their adaptations. Now, I'm not going to talk about the Codex. I'm just going to talk about what GW has released so far because I don't want to get in trouble. Yeah. So, I love this outfit. This is a little bit off. This should be right here. You can even see the gold trim back here. I wanted my outfit very, very dark. But since this is a Halloween stream, got my sister a battle armor on. Well, part of it. I'm not actually wearing the upper arm guards or anything. Alright. So, we're going to get into it with the new Tyranid adaptations, which is basically their different chapters and everything. So, right off the bat, we have Behemoth. Now, Behemoth I thought was pretty cool. If this page will actually work and I can see what I'm doing, that would be terrific. There we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and minimize this. And go like this. Alrighty, boop, and boop. So it starts off with Behemoth. Now, if you guys don't know, ooh, sorry, I just punched my microphone. If you guys don't know, most of the Tyranid hive fleets have been significantly defeated. In recent years, the Tau, the Eldar, and the Space Marines have pretty much obliterated almost all the hive fleets. And then there was the whole Cabanda incident. We don't talk about that because that was bad lore. But, that all being said, it's been 250 years and the hive fleets have returned. More deadly than ever. Or at least I hope that's what they're going to do for the new lore. Because if they just kind of say that they didn't die off after making really, really, really long epic stories about how they died off, it's going to be a little bit silly. So, Behemoth. Hyper-aggression. You can reroll failed charge rolls for units with this adaptation. Now, unlike Space Marines, where they have the pretty much useless Black Templar, Marines are not combat-oriented. Tyranids are. And I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me on that, but Space Marines are a shooty army first. Tyranids are definitely a close combat army. So this is actually really, really, really good if you want to bring Trigon Genestealer bombs. So 3 Trigons, 3 groups of Genestealers popping up in your opponent's zone while you take 60 Gaunts, 10-man units, just so all of that can come in and you get a full brigade detachment out of it. It's really, really, really efficient, especially if you take a Swarm Lord in a pod as well. You just need to take one more thing, so your second HQ could actually be... a Travagon, which would be awesome because you can turn one of those 10-man units into a 20-man unit or spawn a new 10-man unit. And with this, you can almost guarantee that your Genestealers are going to get into combat, your Trigons are going to get into combat, and it's going to be really, really, really nice. And I really like this with them. So, Behemoth has one of the simplest of traits in the Codex. But, they talk about Trigons. Yeah. Oh, and Adrenal Gland's light of reroll charging or something like that as well. Yeah, it combines with the Adrenal Gland Biomorph. I think it just adds to your charge distance. Now I'm going to try to drink something really quickly. This is Happy Time Fun Gochise. The one weakness to this armor is drinking and eating with this giant plate here. It makes it relatively difficult. 3 squads of 20 gaunts is 720. I never bring gaunts in squads more than 10 just to minimize the amount that I need. I like bringing Genestealers with them, so 3 squads of 10, 15 Genestealers is what I usually go for, and Genestealers are actually troop choices as well. It's insane how good Tyranids are with how cheap they are now. Sorry, I just read a comment. Anyway, the next one we're moving on to is High Fleet Kraken. Kraken's adaptation is when a unit with this adaptation advances, roll 3 dice instead of 1, and pick the highest and to add to the movement characteristic of all models in the unit for this movement phase. In addition, such units can fall back and charge in the same turn. So if you have big giant squads of gaunts, like you just shot something, smacked into it, during your turn you can leave, although you can't shoot. So you can fall back and charge a different target, like something that's actually needed to die right then and there. It's more or less you bog down a unit like a Land Raider or something, so it becomes useless. And then you move away from it to attack something that's actually threatening you, the rest of your High Fleet. Surround it so that it can't move. I'm not too big a fan of this one, and unfortunately I think my High Fleet is Kraken. I forget which High Fleet I have. It's the brown and red carapace. Always forget them. So the units that they really like are heavy hitters like the horror specs. Don't get pinned. The horror specs is just bad. It's still bad. I'm sorry, it's bad. You know, it tries to be good, but it's really just bad. Okay, moving on. We have High Fleet Leviathan. Roll a d6 each time a unit with this adaptation loses a wound, whilst it is within 6 inches of a friendly synapse unit with the same High Fleet. On a 6, the damage is ignored and the unit does not lose a wound. Ignore this adaptation if you are currently under the effects of Catalyst Psychic Power. That's actually really good for Gaunts. Like a Gaunts with a 6-up ignore damage is kind of insane. Now, this does stack with other abilities, I believe, but I'm not 100% on it. So I think if you take the Warlord trait that gives you a 6-up ignore damage, you can then stack it with this ability and just roll 2 dice to see if you ignore the damage. I'm not 100% on that, so I could be wrong. Hardspecs are getting significant point decrease, like 85 points cheaper or so. Holy crap, if they do, they'll still be completely useless, but that's tempting. I mean, if I had the model, like 100%, if I had a horror specs, I might consider using it. So they say combine this with Tyranid Warriors. That's actually pretty good because Tyranid Warriors having 3 wounds a pop and a 6-up on all damage, they're still more than likely going to die to a Meltagun, but it's not as likely, so it's actually really good. Personally, I would toss this on, like if I was using Leviathan's adaptation, I would probably use it on Genestealers. I mean, I keep comparing this to Genestealers because they're the one good thing in the Tyranid Codex that just got significantly better and stayed good, in my opinions. Because like things like the Hive Tyrant, the Flying Hive Tyrant, for instance, it's just not as good anymore because it's not as mobile. And I know a lot of people can be like, well, you could advance and charge with the damn thing. And that makes it really good, but actually, no, it is just really good. I think I'm still salty that I lost the Twin Link Devourer Brain Leech Worms for 12 shots that reroll everything. Okay. But again, I'm going to keep looking at Trigons, Genestealers, and Hive Tyrants, and Carnifexes, because Carnifexes are significantly good now. Alright, so that's the 3-4 units that I'm going to compare. Because I feel as though they are the best representation of what the Tyranid Codex can do. So, Hive Fleet Gorgon. Now, this is kind of an interesting choice in here because Gorgon is not a well-known Hive Fleet. It is in a couple of stories, but it's not really that crazy. Alright, so their adaptation is you can reroll wound rolls of 1. God, that is so tough for me to say. In the fight phase for units with this adaptation. Decent, not terrific. I mean, it's kind of cool because it's on everybody. So it's kind of cool if you want to do a close combat punchy army. Especially if you only need 2s to wound with giant monstrous creatures. If you're going to go Nidzilla, this is a really, really good one for you. Because the rerolling of 1s is huge because a lot of your weaponry will be wounding on 2s against most infantry. But, meh. I really like, I do really like Nidzilla. I will admit to that. I don't like swarm armies. I like Nidzilla. This ability is definitely strong, and I do like it. Okay, moving on. We have... I don't know how to pronounce this Hive Fleet's name. Jormungand? I'm not even going to try to pronounce this thing. Okay. I'm not going to try to pronounce this Hive Fleet's name. It's the Jumanji one, okay? Tunneling Network. A unit with this adaptation, other than units that can fly, always has the benefit of cover for the purposes of shooting attacks. If a unit advances or charges, however, it loses the benefit of this adaptation until the start of your next movement phase. This one is extremely good if you're using Bioforce. Although, let's see what it has to say. Tunneling Network may make your Tyranid army a little slower. It's kind of a huge deal, GW. It's like, slowing down Tyranids is something that I don't like. But being able to claim a cover save anywhere on the board is well worth it. For Genestealers with extended carapace, claiming a 3+ save to Exocrines with a 2+, this is a go-to Hive Fleet adaptation for defensive players. Okay, I'm going to say this right now. Jormungand? Is that how you pronounce it? Okay, Jumanji. Got it. Hive Fleet Jumanji, completely useless. Like, if you're going to take this one, you're going to be a casual player or you really like the paint scheme. And I do have to admit, the paint scheme is rather nice. It is a blue and purple paint scheme with green highlights. It looks fantastic. I will say that much. But Hive Fleet Jumanji, no go for me. I will take the Hive Fleet that allows me to reroll the charges or rerolls ones in combat or basically anyone else except for Jumanji. Jormungand. I'm not going to try it. Done. Now, Hive Fleet Hydra. Another Hive Fleet that is just not talked about ever is Hive Fleet Hydra. Like, it is in a couple of books. Just, Jumanji is, I don't even know. Oh wait, Hive Fleet Cronus is the Hive Fleet that is the blue and purple. My bad. Hive Fleet Hydra. Swarming Instinct. You can reroll hit rolls in the fight phase for units with this adaptation that target units containing fewer models than their own. This is crazy. I really like this because if I'm going to take a swarm-based army, it is going to be Genestealers. And having Genestealers re-roll to hit is kind of huge. Oh, somebody actually did point out how Jumanji is good. Travagons with gaunts and extended carapace, and you can take separate detachments with different high fleet traits. I don't think you can. No, I think you can. I'm not sure how that one works. Alright, I will get back to you on that one. I'm not sure how that one would work. Personally, I wouldn't, because the gaunts have a 6+ save. They would be getting +1 to their cover, and they would be a 5+ save on a gaunt. It's not worth it. Especially with any weapon that's going to shoot them that -1. Like a heavy flamer, it's just going to rip right through them. Okay. But Hydra I really like if you're going to go Genestealer heavy. Even Warrior Swarm is really good with this. Like, one of my buddies was telling me this. Instead of Genestealers, he's been experimenting with full units of Warriors with barely any upgrades on them aside from the sights and like a bone sword, and they've been doing really, really, really well when they pop out of the hull of the Trivagon. What the hell was I saying? But when they pop out of that hull, they get the extra charge distance, or they use this one, and re-rolling to hit plus the crazy amount of wounds that it's going to be dealing. It's really good at killing tanks. Exocrines with a 2+ is kind of evil. If you're shooting at it again with a bolter, if I'm going to shoot at an exocrine, well, first off, if my opponent is taking an exocrine, I'm pretty much going to win. Against Flyrants, that's kind of cool, but I'm going to shoot a Flying Hive Tyrant with a Meltagun, and it's not going to get a save. Like, the +1 to a save it's almost pointless in my opinion. I mean, I know everybody is going to be trying to tell me that the +1 save is actually really, really, really good. It's not. Especially when there's an entire Space Marine chapter that literally ignores your cover save bonuses. So, oh yeah, and it doesn't affect flying creatures. That's another one. Although Swarmlord with a 2+ save is kind of cool as he walks through bolter fire. High Fleet Cronus. This is a High Fleet that I've never heard of. Like, me, Remlaze, and Michael were talking about this. Remlaze being 40k Theories, Michael being Tactica Imperialis. Please go check out their channels. They're really fantastic people. We had no idea who these guys were. We were just like, who the hell is this? So I'm expecting new lore on this High Fleet, and I'm super excited about this High Fleet. Like, this could be a new game changer. Not like tabletop-wise, but game changer in the lore. So I'm kind of really happy for this one. Okay, you can reroll hit rolls of 1 for units with this adaptation in your shooting phase if they do not move in the preceding movement phase. This is really, really, really good if you bring Biovore spam. And especially being that Biovores actually deal mortal wounds now, shooting Tyranids are actually scary. Biovores are extremely cheap, like dirt fucking cheap. You can bring so many of them. It's ridiculous. And the mortal wound spam is going to kill tanks. It's going to kill big characters. They don't need a line of sight. They just fire. It's insane. So if you are going to do shooty nids, this is your High Fleet. Melee nids greater than shooty nids, but currently not a useless trait. But certainly not a useless trait. I completely agree with that statement, but if you can mix and match this would be extremely useful to bring alongside a Genestealer cult detachment. So there is something that you can consider as the ally matrix. Okay. So, Hive Guard sit. Cronus. Hive Guard sit in cover. No line of sight. Impaler Cannon. Squad of 3. Gets 6 shots. Hitting on 3s. Rerolling 1s. That's pretty decent, but put it on Biovores. You get a 48-inch range. that deals mortal wounds. Kinda good. And that is unfortunately the last of the Tyranid high fleets. So, where do we stand right now? Tyranids are not overpowered. They're not underpowered. They're not crazy good. They're not super expensive. They're not, how to put this? They're not great. But that inlines its best attribute. They're on par with like Space Marines minus the Guilliman. So they're going to be a mid-tier army that can definitely surprise a couple of players. I really don't think that they're going to be like, oh my god, super powerful or anything like that. And I can't help but feel like they're going to be outshot by, well, pretty much any other army. And their melee is mostly where they're going to be crazy. But they're incredibly balanced, and that's kind of the coolest thing. So I think it's really cool. Tyranids are definitely awesome. And this codex is completely balanced. It definitely has builds that are going to alpha strike like crazy. It's going to table Tau like turn 1. Especially if you take that reroll charge range with, oh my god, it's just going to be insane. Like, if I was going to build an alpha striking Tyranid list right now, it would be 2 dirt cheap Hive Tyrants, wings with monster scything talons, so you know, or squishy in a drop pod. 3 squads of Genestealers, full squads, if I can. No upgrades aside from that. Maybe adrenal glands and that's it. Oh no, wait, no, adrenal glands are like really expensive. So probably not adrenal glands, but just extra bodies. 3 Trigons to bring those guys in. And 3 units of Gaunts, no upgrades, just 10 men sitting in the back row, not even gonna care. And just alpha strike my opponent's army. See if that works. I hope the Tyrannocyte itself took a huge price cut, because that thing is ridiculously overpriced for being as useless as it is. And personally, I wish I never even made it into the Codex. Like, I wish that thing was just in the lore, and for Codex purposes, you just gave your Tyranids like an additional 30 points to have it deep strike. I really wish that's what it was. The Tyrannocyte seems really useless to me. Once it drops off its passenger, of course. Although when I got bumped to 9 wounds, by the way, so you can hide him now. That's actually really good. With the adrenal 8-inch charges rerollable. That's also pretty good. I would use it on bigger creatures, but on smaller squads, I'd probably max out bodies over it. Carnifexes get the most of their old models back. Yes, the Screamer Killer, the Doc effects, and a few of the other types of effects are back, and I think that is really cool. I'm hoping, because now you guys know that I have the Stonecrusher Carnifex, I want to see how the Stonecrusher actually competes up to the Screamer Killer. I do know the Screamer Killer does have Bioplasma and its scythes. It has a good number of attacks, a good speed, and it's pretty decent. I do wish it was a Flamer template, and by that I mean auto hits, but it's not. You know, you can't have everything. I'm shrugging my shoulders, by the way. I mean, you can't see that because if I shrug my shoulders, I do this. It just moves the whole armor. So all in all, I do have to say the Tyranids are very balanced for their abilities. I do have to look into their stratagems and all sorts of other things, and once I get the Codex in, which one of you lovely people are actually going to get me for my birthday, and I think that's awesome. By the way, next month is my birthday month. 9th of November is actually my birthday. Super excited. But, especially with Tyranids releasing on the 9th, like that is, And even GW responded to me on that. You can check that on my Facebook and Twitter. They actually shot me a message back saying, Happy Tyranid Spawn Day. And I thought that was so cool. So if you guys have any questions right now, I would like to answer them. Just do a little Q&A while we sit here, and I'm just going to keep ranting about Tyranids in general. Oh, and thank you, Imperial Knight. How do you feel GW is doing in terms of keeping content flowing? I myself am hyped for Shakespeare. You know, I'm going straight into 40k lore right there. Shadespire. And how do you feel that 8th in regarding to competitive and casual? Okay, I love that they keep pouring out content. Like, I love it. I love that they keep every month something new is coming out. Now, granted, I do have to look at this from a business standpoint as well because I am a manager of a gaming store. And that part actually does scare me a little bit because it's constant orders that need to happen. That's a lot of money that GW is actually getting. I don't know why they didn't do this a couple of years ago. But I digress. The competitive scene is actually really, and I know this is going to sound really stupid, competitive scenes are balanced. Casual games are balanced. The gaming system itself is balanced. Competitive punishes you a hell of a lot more for, well, deploying badly. But casual games can be really fun. I do like that they are creating new books every single day. Not every single day, but every single month. And I am super happy with how GW is working and operating right now. Although I can't believe they trolled me. That was really good on them. Good on you, GW. You trolled me, and I love you for it. I thought that was the best thing ever. Rupture cannons will be heavy 3, strength 10, AP minus 3, D6 damage. Oh. That's actually really hitting on 4s, though. That's oh. I don't know how I feel about that. On one hand, that's really, really, really good. The extra shot is huge. Because that takes it 50-50 to 2/3 chance of hitting something. So I really like that. At strength 10, it is going to easily hurt Titans. It's easily going to hurt... it's going to hurt big things. And D6 damage can be insane, but there's a lot of that you may want to reroll with command points. Stonecrushers hit on 3 with... target reroll against vehicles, strength x2, 14. I actually know all about the Stonecrusher Carnifex, and I really love them. Denying Deep Strike is his big area and eating up surprise attacks. Yes, Tyranids are really good at denying Deep Strike. Especially with Gaunts, you can actually hold almost everything back. It's really, 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 really tactical and really efficient, too. Genestealer Cult still great. They are very good, but not as good as they were. On one hand, they're really reliable, but on the other hand, they're more reliable, but they're weaker, if that makes sense. How good is the Tyrannifex? Tyrannifex is decent. I equipped mine with a ton of shots because I like volley of bullets over volley of versus min strong bullet. God, I can speak. Min strong shots. So if I can get 20 shots on him, I take the 20 shots over the 3 shots. That's the way I run him anyway. But I do want to try him the other 2 ways and see how it works. If it stays still, it can shoot twice. Effectively 6 las cannons on 4 up. So you're hitting 3 times and wounding almost all 3 times depending on your target. Okay, Tyrannifexes might actually be really good. I'm definitely going to have to try that. Okay, you reckon we might get NIDs made to order? I kind of miss the short, fat zoanthrope. Oh, with the Ooga Booga mask? I really like that one. I like the bipedal zoanthropes from 2nd and 3rd edition. They were really cool. I still have a few. Probably we'll see like Old One Eye return momentarily. You know, with the crab model. I think that'd be cool. So we might. But there are adaptations for reroll ones. Hive Mind likes this stream. Yes, it does. Easily hurt Titans, Rudy. Nice. Okay, that's creepy. Okay, is it working? I guess we're still working. We're back. Okay. Sorry about that. Alright, back to questions. And how do you feel about Neothropes becoming HQs? I thought it was Malanthropes that became HQs. If Malanthropes are HQs, I really like it. If Neothropes are HQs, that's kind of neat. I heard... Stream died. Oh, I thought it was my ass. Shit again. No, my OBS is being really stupid as of lately. I don't know what's going on. That is my own fault. But the most competitive build that I can think of for Tyranids right now is going to be spamming Genestealers. They're just insane. They're just... Okay, are we back? Anyway, I know this is going to crash a couple more times, so I am going to cut the stream right here. I am sorry about that, but if you do have any more questions about the Tyranids or my experience with the Tyranids, and if I'm going to bring Tyranids to a tournament or more games, please comment in the comment section down below. Also, you can find a link to my Discord if you want to ask me questions directly. We have a good community on my Discord. You can also follow me on various social medias, whatever, the plug is down there. Also, consider supporting me on Patreon. I'm just going to say it. I do modeling photos on there as well as some exclusive videos. Anyway, guys, I'm Alexis the Ego Queen. I love you guys. Bye.